Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Katrena Friel is a mentor, author and TEDx speaker, and she runs the Become the Expert program. She encourages her clients not just to network, but to be the content of a networking meeting by being the speaker. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Katrena.
Thanks for having me, Liz.
Now, people will hear straight away that you're not in the UK. Tell us whereabouts in the world you are.
I'm in Sydney, Australia.
Fantastic, and I'm sure it's much warmer there than it is here.
Oh, it's been very warm and quite balmy for the end of summer. Yeah, too hot for me even.
Now, you're a business mentor. Is that something that you've always done? What's your background, Katrena?
Yeah, so I've been in business now for 25 years. So I've always been business mentoring. But I suppose I'm talking about 7 streams of income, and I actually use all those 7 streams to communicate. And business mentoring is just one way of saying what I do in a very small nutshell.
So how did you get started?
So originally I was, I'd left my job and due to being scammed. So I'd signed up to this person's program, and we were all going to work together in a group, in a collab, and we were all in there. We'd all paid our investment money. And we were sort of looking around going, hang on a minute, I don't think he's got anything. And so we investigated it and realised he had nothing and he'd scammed us. So I went and saw my solicitor, and solicitor took one look at it and said, yep, you've collected all the evidence. It's a very good case. You'll probably win unless you get a lazy judge who just can't handle the detail of this case. And he said, just let me ask you one question. Is there any chance that you've learnt a $30,000 lesson? And that question was just so powerful. It changed every cell in my body. I was immediately healed from the trauma of it.
Yeah.
I dropped any legal action. I wasn't going to waste any more time or money on it. And the rest is really history. I realised the lesson that I had, and the realisation that I had, was that I had everything I need. This guy was an idiot. He had nothing, and I had everything inside of me already. So, Katrena, no more excuses. Just get on with it.
And what were your next steps then from there?
So from there, I just started to really believe in myself. So I was doing a lot of corporate training, a lot of executive coaching along with that. And no matter what happened, no matter where I went, no matter what stage I was speaking on, doing my thing. And I was really into Leadership Management Masterclass. That was my signature program that was giving me access to all these people. And I'd get up and speak and train and coach and whatnot. And no matter where I went, there was always someone that would come up at the end and sort of say, oh, I'd love to do what you're doing. I've always dreamed of doing that. And then I started to think, okay, well, how did I do it?
Yeah.
And reverse engineered that.
Yeah.
And Becoming the Expert program was launched, and I started to teach people how I was doing it. And the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah. So have you always worked for yourself?
No, I've had a huge corporate career prior to that. I'm 57 now, so I was out in the world doing lots and lots of things. I was exposed to so many opportunities, so many industries. I'm really grateful for my career, but HR and recruiters hated me and couldn't place me. And finally, towards the sort of when I was sort of getting more advanced in my career, I finally had someone explain it to me, and they said, you're a consultant personality.
Yeah.
And he said, you're very typical, meaning you can turn your brain to anything. You can, you're a very quick learner. You're very activated in your personal and professional development. And I didn't know, but that's actually in their eyes, is seen as a consultant's brain. And they really don't like to hire those people because they're very hard to manage, because we get bored so quickly and we're on to the next thing,
Yeah.
you know. So nobody wants to hire us. But anyway, I had a great career, exposed to lots of stuff, and all of that holds me in very good stead, even to this day. I can talk to anyone about anything and understand exactly the problem that they're facing, depending on what age they are or what their issue is. I know exactly where they're at.
Yeah. So tell me about your business today then. Who is it that you help?
So now I help usually corporate women who are sort of sitting in their careers, based on my exposure to thousands and thousands of women every year in my own presenting work. 75% of them are unfulfilled. 75% of them are finding absolutely no meaning in their work anymore. And so I love to capture them at that place, because what's happening is they're startled, they're scared, they're institutionalized, and they are wondering, do I have to live like this? And so what happens is, if they can see me speak, they will fill in the form and have a free discovery session. If I have access to them in the free discovery session, I can show them the vision of their future that they didn't realize existed. And so what I do is I give them absolute clarity in that moment of what is the next step for them. But the great news is we're going to run a dual strategy. And so we're going to show them, stay in the job. I'll show you how to be happy in the now. Take the money. Don't stress out about your finances. Keep paying the mortgage. And let's build this in the background. Within 90 days, I have their whole consultancy built, and they're ready to sort of hit the ground running using their holiday leave. They can take leave without pay. They could take a sabbatical. They could take long service leave. There's a whole bunch of ways we can do the rest of the 12-month program and just prove the product, prove the system, prove that they can get out there and make $4,500 a day minimum. And then they can start, once they've proven it, then they can start to think, okay, now do I want to resign? Do I want to drop a day? Do I want to go down to 3 days? Do I want to go part-time? Do I want to, I've got options, but I really want them to not throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think that causes more problems than it's worth.
Yeah. So that's a really shocking statistic that you gave then. 75% are unhappy. How do so many of us end up stuck like that?
We are programmed to do the sensible thing. We're really programmed to be very risk adverse, and that is just a pain in the butt. And that is why I think men, there's the pay gap, apart from the obvious things that create the pay gap, like having children and losing 10 years of your life in career. There's that. I understand that. But I think there's another thing that we're not talking about, and that is men will apply for something that they're not qualified for, and because they buy more raffle tickets, they win more. Whereas women don't buy the raffle ticket, which means they can't win.
Yeah, I've heard that before, that women will only apply for something if they tick all the boxes.
And it's ridiculous, because they're way more qualified than the idiotic men. Oh, sorry, that's my feminist coming out. But look, I am a raging feminist, so it seems, but I still feel that women really need to kick up their butt. They need to be told that none of us are taking risks. I don't take stupid risks. You don't take stupid risks. But I tell you what, we had a crack. We had a go. We started. That's the key. Start. Begin something, like anything. But don't sit in this I have no clarity, this unfulfilled space. It's going to make you bitter. It's going to make you age. It's going to stop you from sleeping properly, because you're just not happy. You've only got this one life to lead. Gosh, you better go out knowing your full potential, and that you sucked up as much juice out of that mango as you possibly could. Let's have it dripping down our arms.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's eat into life. Let's really get into life and not just live this drab, boring or beige life. It's horrendous.
I love it. So where are your clients? You mentioned you're on the other side of the world from me, but do you work for people all over the place?
Yes, yes. So I've had clients in Germany and New York and London and Sweden. Gosh, they have been absolutely everywhere. It's the only issue is the time zone, but
Yeah.
we seem to be able to traverse that somewhat. And look, we just work it out. I don't mind staying up a little bit later for my clients. I can just manage my day at the other end.
Yeah.
It's about freedom, and I won't do anything that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
And so I say to my clients, you let me worry about my schedule. I just want to be there for you and deliver my part of the job.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
how do you work with them? What form does your training
it'll
take?
be on Zoom. It'll be on Zoom if they're overseas. We only have a 2-day kickoff to start with, and usually that will be on Zoom if they're elsewhere. But yeah, I love my UK clients.
And is it all one-to-one
All,
or
all
group
one to
work?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started as group work, but whenever I looped back to them after the program, I'd say, so how are you going? Where's your website? Where's your book? Where's your signature program? Where's everything? And they'd done nothing. And
Mm.
so I started to think, oh my God, I'm not wasting the rest of my life. I don't want to waste my time. Like, why am I training, putting my heart and soul into this, and nothing's happening for it? So I couldn't bear it. So I started to realize it had to be a done for you model. It had to be one on one. And then I could guarantee that people would have their ecosystems built and their 7 streams of income up and happening, ready to go.
Yeah. So
No
tell me, what
excuses.
what are the 7 streams of income?
So the first one is a book. So this is where we put together their actual philosophy. So the rigor of doing the book creates a layer of confidence that you can't get any other way. And so they need to do the rigor, and we turn their philosophy into a book. Now, they shouldn't get scared about that. They might not think they have a philosophy. That's my job. I go and draw the philosophy out of them. So they don't need to worry, oh gosh, I don't have a philosophy. Don't worry about it at this stage. Let me do my bit, and I pull out the philosophy. And that turns into a book. The book turns into a keynote,
Yeah.
which is like a TED Talk sort of thing, where you get out there and you use your book and your keynote as your sales and marketing strategy. So they're the first 2 streams of income. The third stream of income is training, and then coaching, mentoring, facilitating, and consulting.
Wow.
They're the 7.
Yeah. And so how long does it take for all of that to fall into place?
Well, 90 days it's all up and running, and I've laid in all the confidence building it with them. So, they're practicing their keynote. They are editing their book over and over. So, I'm the editor of the book, but they have to read it and check that it all still makes sense.
Yeah.
And then when we're building the signature program, just during the building of that and the conversations and the editing process, it's layer upon a layer of confidence, so that at the end of the 90 days, they are locked and loaded, ready to go, and they should be biting at the bit to get out of there. Whereas if they haven't done all that rigor, what happens is they're so scared, they don't know who they are and what they stand for, and so they go out and they don't really do much because they haven't done the rigor. So the rigor is important.
Yeah.
Really important.
So how many people would you work with at any one time typically?
So in a year, I would probably do about 20. That is sort of my limit, because it is such a, it's
intense.
lot of it's intense for me. And I don't give it to AI. I don't give it to VAs. This is actually me with my 50 years experience of my 25 years of doing it.
Yeah.
But with my sort of 40 odd years of experience, I'm working on it, and that's the difference. Everyone else is sort of relegating it or delegating it down to their others. I don't believe that's actually quite useful at this point. I think they need me to be very responsive. It's unlimited coaching, unlimited therapeutic coaching. It's unlimited mentoring. So whenever they need me, at the moment they need me, they've got access to me. They don't have to wait 2 weeks for their appointment.
Yeah.
They just reach out going, oh my God, I'm feeling funny. something, I've lost confidence. My mother said this, or my sister said that, or my boss said this. And I call those punches in the stomach, and it can shatter them at this very early stage it's in their first year.
Yeah.
So they're little wibbly wobblies. So my job is to hold their hand, and I'm there when they need me, and they go into self-doubt, and we work through it, and I've got lots of ways that I work with them to get them through it. Sometimes it's just a slap across the face. Other times it's a punch in the face going, don't be so stupid. Other times it's actually therapeutic, like they've got trauma in their past holding them back, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that could be going on. But I've seen it all. I actually know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and when they're going to hit that, that limiting belief. I know exactly when that's going to occur, and how they're going to be feeling at certain times, because I've just done it so often.
Yeah. So tell me what kind of results your clients get and what sort of feedback you have from them.
Yeah, so, well, the feedback that they like to give to people who are thinking about doing it is trust the process. Don't try and second guess it. Don't try and jump ahead. Just stay on the railway tracks, and when you get to that station, I will teach that bit. Don't try and get 3 stations ahead, because it won't make sense. It's all in the right order at the time that you need it. So let's just go step by step by step. Whereas control freaks try to control things, and it's like, there's just no need. I say to them, lean back, just relax. I will guide you station by station by station. So my clients always, once they've been through the process, can safely say, just trust the process. It's easy to say, hard to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, the other thing, the sort of results we want to see is, we want to see how quick can you get to $1 million model. That's the I show them. Year 1 looks like around 200K. What does year 2 look like? 400K. And what does year 3 look like? What does the $1 million model look like? And so they're sort of tracking to that. Now, that could be lumpy. That could be different for different people, depending on their confidence, experience, and the whole shebang. But one of my clients in year 3 got to the $1 million mark, and I was just so proud of that when I saw it. And, we built a industry institute for them. So they are now the head of the industry in Australia doing that thing. And since she's exited and somebody else, their co-founder's taken over, she's now building with me her next chapter, so she can sort of semi kind of retire-ish. I don't believe in retirement, but, we always have to have a project, us little business people. We never want to stop. But anyway, what a wonderful story. That's the sort of relationship I'm after. She's been with me 8 years. We're now going into her second project after the 8 years. And I still work with the original organisation that we created in the first place. And I'm heading up there to do I've been their keynote speaker and MC of their summit for years and years and years and years.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So it's just so integrated. We're family, we're friends, we're strategic partners. I just don't want to have shallow relationships. I pick my projects very carefully. I pick the person and I pick the topic, and I've got to be in it. I've got to be in it, heart and soul. Otherwise, I just lose interest.
Well, that seems like a good moment to start talking about networking then. So what does networking mean to you, Katrena?
Okay, so to me, networking is not like it was in the 80s. Back in the day when we were first starting out, it was absolutely horrendous. People used to just do it like speed dating, and they would be talking to you, but they'd be looking over their shoulder at the next person. They'd shove you a business card. You wouldn't even remember who they were or how it was all related. And you just, I don't know, I used to just have drawers full of business cards that I didn't even know what to do with. And so I learned very early on that this networking thing was a load of bollocks. And anywho, so I sort of went on a bit of a quest to go, well, if I'm going to go out there and do networking, how am I going to make it, meaningful? And so I just started to bond with one person, and I just walk away with this new friend,
Yeah.
this new deep relationship where we'd giggled in the night, we'd made fun of other people, we'd really talked about, who you are and what you're doing, and they were really keen to find out who was I and what was I doing, and then we'd sort of start to think, who can we help each other with? And so really the giving kind of idea first, and then just stay in contact, and then one thing leads to another. And whether that person directly buys from me or not is really not what it's about.
No.
It's always the indirect business
Yeah.
that you get from it afterwards. So I kind of just stuck with that concept over the last 25 years, and that really works for me, and I know it works for most of us, where, we just walk away with one person and, you've done it's a great night if that's happened.
Yeah. And is networking something that you encourage your clients to go and do?
I definitely do, but I have a little bit of a twist on it. I say to them, don't network unless you're speaking. So I encourage my clients to always be the content within the networking opportunity, so that you are positioned in the room correctly as the expert. So that's our main focus. But sometimes what has to happen is you have to go to the networking group, meet the people, check out the vibe, see if you can meet the owner or the organizer, and then start a relationship. And then your objective is that you may speak in the future.
Yeah.
That they've got to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
That you're kind of right for their community and for their tribe. So you've got to often prove that first. So that would be my view, is to always go build relationships, but with a strong objective to speak, because otherwise if you don't speak, you don't have an opportunity to present your philosophy on how you help people.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip. So my final question then, Katrena, if people want to know more about you, or indeed even work with you, what is the best place for them to find you?
Jump onto the website becomingtheexpert.com.au. You'll be able to either download the checklist there of what's included in the program. That's sort of one option if you don't want to quite jump into the free discovery session. But the best thing to do is just jump on the free discovery session, book your session, let me have an hour, let me rummage about and have it, and just do my thing. Just let me do my zone of genius. Is putting it all together. And my aim is within about 15 minutes, we have absolute clarity on what your next chapter would look like and what your 7 streams of income could look like if we were to put together some sort of ecosystem for you. I would love that opportunity, and that's my way of giving back very generously, because that's an hour of my time I'll never get back.
Yes.
So I want to make sure it's full of value for both of us.
Yeah, sounds like a great opportunity. Well, thank you very much for being my guest today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, Liz.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.